So to build Jack's treehouse stairs, we're going to need to cut some timbers. First thing we're going to need is we're going to need two 2x10s for the risers. Now, when you're cutting long logs like this, because this is just around 15 feet or so, it's really hard to, you have to have a flat platform to make your first cut, and it's hard to find anything long enough to use as a guide. So this is a way you can do it, and the length can just be as long as you want. You could cut 30, 40, 50, 100 foot beams this way by simply using a 2x12 that's going to sit on top of these nails and slide it along as you go. So what we've got here is, and especially useful on these old gnarled knobby logs where you can't get a real flat spot on the top. We've got some big galvanized spikes there, you can see, and they're all connected with a string line.
And they help to play the guitar, right?
Yeah. No, it's not that tight. So the reason why we do this is the string line is going to give us an absolutely flat platform to base these on. So I'll set this nail here, we'll demonstrate it here in just a second, and the nail on the other end, and then we pound in the rest of the spikes to meet the string line. So Jack and I are going to do this other side, and I'll demonstrate kind of how this works. It'll all come clear. Okay, so these logs, or these spikes, need to be all in the same plane. So what we'll do is we're going to be using a 2x12 to sit on top of these. So these need to be about 10 inches apart, which works out to what a torpedo level is. So what we're going to do is we're going to pound this spike in until we have it level all the way across here. Okay, see here? So this needs to be level across here, so give it a couple more taps.
You need to hold it.
It's pretty hard old wood. Let me give you a hand here.
We're level.
Now a level is a tool that needs to be precise. It's one you want to take special care of. You never want to drop it. So when you're working with it, always be very careful with it.
Yes, sir.
How's that?
It's level.
Okay, perfect.
The level says it's level. How does it work anyway? Does it have like a little air bubble in it?
Yeah, it's got alcohol in it, because alcohol won't freeze.
Oh. Why won't alcohol freeze?
So now we'll have to use our string that will help us to set the elevation of the rest of the nails throughout the field. So we'll take this and do 3 twisties like this. Go around here. It's got to go over the top like that, right?
Uh-huh.
And run it down to that end. That. And make sure that the string goes up and sits on top of the head of the nail.
Unlike the other two?
Well, those are already done. We don't need those anymore. Okay, so now the string line is going to tell us exactly where we need to be. So we'll come just beside it and tap it down until we're at the exact height. How's that look?
That looks good.
All right, you do the next one. You can use your little hammer. Check it. All right, so this morning Jack and I went to the lumber yard and we picked up the straightest 2x12 that they had. And this is going to be our reference point. This is going to be our flat, the flat guide that we need for a chainsaw mill. And the beauty of this system like this is that you can scoot this 2x12 along as many spikes or nails that you have. It's a little bit tedious for the setup, but you only have to do it one time to make your initial cut. Once you make that initial cut, then you've got a good flat cant off of that log, then you can use that for your gauge. You know, your timbers that you're going to cut with your chainsaw mill or whatever are only as good as your setup. So make sure you spend the time doing this, and then it will reflect in all of your other your work. Exactly. So what that 2x12 there is, it's a guide. So we can run with our chainsaw mill. We can run a flat right along that.
I hope you didn't pound your nails in too deep.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. You got to be careful with that. You got to set your saw deep enough where you're not going to run into your nails, and I'm pretty confident that we are. So let's fire it up and cut our first slab and see how it turns out. So what your job's going to be, Jack, is you're going to be, because there's so much vibration in the saw, I want you to stay ahead of me several feet and just make sure that the 2x doesn't want to slide off the nails. That's your only job. What do you think, Jack? Let's check and see how our first cut turned out. Can you grab that other side of the 2x12 over there? Let's sit it flat on the ground here. All right, put it down. Carefully, not dropping. You never drop a load. So with the grain, meaning forward this way and this way, it'll come out easier. All right, so gather them all up and put them over on the workbench. All right, Jack, grab the picaroon of your choice. Oh, I don't care. They're both good. All right, I want you to stand over there. Actually, you stand over here. It's a little bit smaller. And I'll come over here and we'll pull this cant off. And we'll see what it looks like. Stand just like I am, but opposed to me.
You ready?
No, what happens if you pull that way and I pull this way? Now you're thinking. All right, are you ready? Stick it. You take it out by pushing the handle down. Okay, that'll work. Good. All right, let's brush off the sawdust and take a look at it.
Look at the wood. It looks like it's a not as colorful rainbow.
This was a very old tree. This is the tree. This is the last section of the tree that Mom and I cut down with the crosscut saw. All right, so as you can see here, using that 2x12 is a pretty good method. It's pretty flat. That board was a bit crooked and would have liked to have had a nicer one. It was the best one Jack and I could find, but it will be fine for your stair risers. Jack, what do you think? Pretty cool. I always like seeing the first cut, what's underneath of it, you know, because you're the first person that ever laid eyes on it. So what was your experience today, Jack, with doing all this stuff?
There were a lot of fun parts, and there were some not quite as fun parts.
I know that we have a lot of things in common, but we also have a lot of different interests. I think that I probably like sawmilling a little more than you do, and you would prefer to read a book. Is that about right?
Yeah.
That's all right. There's no wrong. But the thing that I've tried to do is to make sure that I prepare you and give you as many skills as possible, because when you're on your own in a few years, you'll have the ability to do lots of different things.
It'll be 8 or 9 years, most likely.
It'll be a long time, but you're getting big enough now where you can, you're going to start working with me a lot more. Yeah. I'll be sure and give you plenty of breaks, though. All right.
And during those breaks, I'll also be able to go.
It's nice to know what to expect, right? When you can take a little break, I understand that. All right, so Jack and I will be, we'll cut the risers out in the next episode, and we'll start, we're going to do some really pretty timber frame stairs, or ladders. Kind of a combination stair ladder up to the treehouse.
Just like, kind of like half ladder, half stairs, kind of slanting, like a kind of like one another in front
Yeah.
of another, but still like this. Kinda
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. They'll be like stairs, but they'll just be a little bit steeper. And there was one other thing. What was I going to say? Oh, I was really tempted to start a new project this morning, wasn't I? What did you tell me when we were down there talking about what we were going to do down there in the orchard? You said, why don't we do instead?
Why don't we work on the treehouse instead?
Why don't we finish the treehouse instead, right? This will be once we get these stairs up, then you'll be able to move in, right? Mm-hmm. We'll get your
And
solar.
you might be able to get some of your junk out.
I'll get my junk out. We'll get your solar panels up there and your inverter and your batteries and hang your door, and you can.
And get a very, very long hose and bring it up to my thing.
For water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to have a.
Well, maybe we can put a rainwater collection up there. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, how about we do a Manly Manners together?
Okay.
All right. Manly Manners. Don't be unsympathetic if your wife's worries seem to you to be trivial. You haven't tried to run a house with tiresome servants and ailing children. I do get so tired of our servants. They are a tiresome lot, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. All the dogs running around.
And you don't realize what a strain it is at times and how molehills become mountains because there are so many of them piled on to each other. You can soon sweep all the trouble away with a little kind sympathy, or you can make it worse by refusing to see that there is any trouble at all. So what does that mean to you?
It means if you're, well, this is going to have to be a few years, but it means that your wife, if she's saying that there's trouble going on and that she needs a little bit of help, you should help her and not just ignore her and make it get worse.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, we'll see.
We are related.
We are related.
Just slightly.
You're the better of the two of us, though. We'll see you guys on the next video.